Hello and good afternoon. Thanks for joining us. It's Update at noon with me, Muhammad Amin Carlos. Well, Prime Minister Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin today said all cabinet ministers from Umno would continue to remain in the Pakatan National Government. And Tan Sri Muhyiddin said the consensus was reached when the ministers concerned met him on Monday to seek his advice on their position in the PN government. Well, in a statement, the Premier said he has advised all of them to remain in the cabinet after urging them to take into account the interests of the people and the country. And he said this as currently the government's main focus is to fight COVID-19, implement the national immunization program, and revive the country's economy. Well, several ministers from Umno are holding important portfolios that are concerned with the government's current focus in fighting COVID-19 and restoring the country's economy. Last Monday, the ministers from Umno held a meeting with the Prime Minister following a motion at the Umno 2020 General Assembly to cut off political cooperation with Bersatu in the 15th general election. On Sunday, Umno President Dato Sri Dr. Ahmad Zahin Hamidi said the motion to cut off political cooperation with Bersatu was unanimously agreed by the party delegates at the Assembly. And at the annual Assembly, Umno also approved the motion that the 42 Umno and Barisan Nasional or BN MPs will not be with the PN government when Parliament is dissolved. The Ministry of International Trade and Industry, MITI, will look at the full report on the allegation by the United States that Top Glove Corporation Berhad had used forced labor in its disposable glove production in Malaysia. Its Minister, Dato Sri Muhammad Azmin Ali, said MITI will continue to facilitate the industry to understand the requirement of Malaysia's export market and to resolve any trade and investment-related matters.
We need to look at the full report, and as I mentioned earlier, we always facilitate our industries to understand what are the requirements of our export markets, and because they have to comply to those requirements. So the ministry is looking into the detail.
It was reported yesterday that the U.S. Customs and Border Protection CBP Office of Trade has published a forced labor finding against Top Glove Corporation Berhad in the Customs Bulletin and in the Federal Register. The U.S. CBP has directed authorities at all U.S. ports of entry to begin seizing disposable gloves produced by Top Glove. Well, construction of the Sungai Besi Ulu Klang Elevated Expressway SUKE has been postponed until a safety audit report by an independent auditor is out. And Senior Works Minister Dato Sri Fadillah Yusof said construction works would only resume if the authorities are satisfied with the findings of the independent auditor on safety at the highway project site.
Masa ni masih tutup. Pasal kerja-kerja yang latest statement yang kita keluarkan ialah the audit tu kan. Independent audit akan membuat auditing, dan kerja hanya boleh dimulakan bila kita dah berpuas hati bahawa segala proses sudut keselamatan ditapak untuk pekerja, untuk orang awam dan keseluruhan aspek tu dipenuhi. Barulah kita akan benarkan apa. Setakat ni kita belum menerima laporan penuh daripada audit bebas yang telah dilantik.
The senior minister also revealed that apart from the SUKE, the Duta Ulu Klang Expressway, Duke, and the East Klang Valley Expressway, EKVE, would also be audited by the appointed independent auditor. On the actual incident, Dato Sri Fadillah said investigation by the Department of Occupational Safety and Health is still going on, as the incident was also linked to equipment at the construction site. On March 22nd, 3 Chinese national workers were killed while a driver was seriously injured when a component of the crane gantry fell in the construction site of the SUKE near Puncak Banyan, Persiaran Alam Damai, Cheras. Well, police have busted an organized crime group known as Gang Nikki with the arrest of 68 individuals and seizure of hundreds of thousands of ringgit in cash and assets worth millions in 70 raids conducted across Klang Valley. Describing this gang as violent and dangerous, Inspector General of Police Tan Sri Abdul Hamid Badur said the group was believed to be involved in international organized crimes, Macau scams and money laundering.
Pihak polis juga telah membekukan 41 akaun bank bernilai RM4,53,809 dan 35 unit kenderaan bernilai RM8,863,000 bla 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 bla, ya. Melibatkan 21 individu dan 16 entiti, termasuk Yayasan Winner Emperor Sedunia dan Pertubuhan Integriti Nikki Malaysia di bawah Seksyen 44 dalam kurungan 1 Amlat Puah 2001. So, tindakan lanjut menjejak dan membekukan aset-aset berupa tanah, rumah dan bangunan sedang giat dijalankan.
Explaining further, the IGP said those arrested in the operation conducted from the 20th to the 28th March were 48 individuals under the Security Offences for Special Measures Act, SOSMA 2012, 11 Chinese nationals and 1 from Myanmar under the Immigration Act 1959-63, and 8 locals for drug offences after the urine tests done found them to be positive. The special operation was launched following intelligence gathered by the Johor Commercial Crime Investigation Department after the Op Pelikan 2.0 mounted against Macau scam activities. However, the police are on the hunt for the main suspect, Datuk Sri Nikki Sun Hee, who is believed to be still in hiding in the country. Well, the 3rd Battalion of the General Operation Force seized almost 900 kilograms of Ketchum leaves worth about 26,000 ringgit in 2 separate raids near Chuping in Padang Besar Perlis. Northern Brigade Commander SAC Abdul Ghani Muhammad G said 2 local men aged 22 and 32 were arrested. According to SAC Abdul Ghani, the first raid was conducted on 28 March when 400 kilograms of Ketchum leaves worth 12,000 ringgit were found in 13 sacks. He said the second raid was conducted on 29 March, where the remaining Ketchum weighing about 480 kilograms worth 14,000 ringgit were found. A motorcycle that was used by one of the suspects was also seized. All seized items and the 2 suspects were brought to Padang Besar Police Station for further action. The case is investigated under Section 30, Subsection 3 of the Poisons Act 1952 and Sections 12, Subsection 2 of the Dangerous Drugs Act 1952. The economy is projected to expand between 6% and 7.5% in 2021, compared with a contraction of 5.6% in 2020, supported by domestic factors such as consumption and a brighter external environment fueled by vaccine rollout. Well, besides inoculation, less stringent containment measures and COVID-19 gradual improvement in labor market conditions, continued policy support for household and businesses, as well as improving external demand amid technology upcycle will drive economic recovery. And Bank Negara Malaysia BNM Governor Dato' Nur Samsia Muhammad Yunus said the Malaysian economy will rebound in 2021 with the gross domestic product or GDP achieving pre-COVID-19 levels by mid-2021. Well, she said this assumption is based on Malaysia achieving herd immunity by the first quarter of 2022. Well, the International Monetary Fund has recently revised upwards its 2021 global growth forecast by 0.3 percentage point to 5.5%. Malaysia's economy shrank 3.4% in the 4th quarter of 2020, with the COVID-19 resurgence bringing the full-year contraction to 5.6%. Well, meanwhile, the central bank governor also warns that complacency in managing the COVID-19 pandemic could lead to resurgences and consequently the re-imposition of strict containment measures. Now, Dato' Nur Samsia said there remains significant uncertainty surrounding the evolution and trajectory of the pandemic, even with the signs of economic recovery and the global rollout of vaccines. Well, she said, given this uncertainty in the strength of the economic recovery, the thrust of Malaysia's monetary policy in 2021 will remain accommodative to support an entrenched and sustained recovery. In another matter, Dato' Nur Samsia stressed that the ability of the financial sector to extend support last year as a testament to the importance of building buffers and ensuring the strength and resiliency of the financial system, especially during good times. Last year, the central bank reduced the overnight policy rate to the lowest level in the country's history to ensure adequate liquidity and orderly market conditions. It also introduced debt relief measures as well as funding programs for small and medium enterprises to help affected businesses to alleviate cash flow constraints. Dato' Nur Samsia said the central bank will remain steadfast in delivering its mandates with the highest standards of professionalism and integrity, apply sound judgment and duty of care in the operation. And with that, we end today's edition of Updates at Noon. In our top story, Prime Minister announces all cabinet ministers from Umno will remain in the PN government. Well, tune in to News at 10, coming up at 10 p.m. on My Freeview Saluran Berita RTM, channel 123. Well, you can also stream the channel via YouTube or RTM's Click web portal and mobile app. Thanks for watching. I'm Mohammed Amin Carlos, and we wish you a pleasant afternoon.